Today I'm going to talk you through what are widely considered to be the two best Medicare Supplement or MediGap plans on the market. Plans G as in golf and N as in November. I'm also going to give you a little bit of basic information about the Medicare Supplement plans just to put the rest of the video in context. Hi, I'm Trey Jones, and here in my office we work with folks across the country helping them with Medicare and Medicare products, and our service is totally free to you. So today I'm going to talk you through the two most popular Medicare Supplement plans really on the market. But first I want to explain how the Medicare Supplement or MediGap plans really work. So there are a couple overarching key characteristics that it's important that you understand before we go any further. One, the Medicare Supplement plans are standardized at a federal level, and all that really means is there's absolutely no difference between plans as long as you are comparing plans of the same letter notation. In other words, every Plan G in the country is identically the same product. It doesn't make any difference where you live. It doesn't make any difference who the insurance carrier is. Every Medicare Supplement Plan G is identical. So that's the first thing, the plans are standardized. Secondly, the insurance companies have absolutely zero decision-making privileges as far as what's going to be covered or not covered. They can't tell you where you can or cannot use the plan. So the only thing the insurance carrier really has any input in whatsoever is how much they're going to charge you for the monthly premium. So in really every state where I work, where I'm licensed, where my business has a presence, we see the same thing. 40, 50, sometimes as many as 60 different insurance carriers selling the same standardized Medicare Supplement product with a huge disparity in price. And there is going to be a video forthcoming on how to pick the best Medicare Supplement insurance company in your market. But that's the second thing. You're going to have a huge price disparity across the different Medicare Supplement insurance carriers for the same plan. Now, the last thing, in my opinion, is really the most important aspect of the Medicare Supplement program, and that is that when you have a Medicare Supplement plan like Plan G or Plan N, which we're going to talk through in just a second, your medical providers, your doctor, your specialist, surgical provider, hospital, whoever your provider is, they do not bill the insurance company. That's very important. Instead, they bill the federal Medicare program directly. And so what that means is you can see any doctor in the country as long as they accept Medicare, which thankfully the overwhelming majority of medical providers nationwide do accept Medicare. But furthermore, the entity that makes your coverage decisions is the nonprofit federal Medicare program, and they use a very, very low bar when they determine if something is going to be covered. They say, is it medically necessary? If it is, it's covered. So on one hand, it's not going to cover elective plastic surgery to make you look like Brad Pitt or Audrey Hepburn, but it will cover heart surgery, having a knee replacement or having stents put in. Anything that's medically necessary is covered. You don't have to fight the insurance company for it, which for most folks who are used to the under 65 employer programs, that's going to be a new experience. And so that's sort of how the Medicare Supplement plans work in a nutshell. Now, the two plans that really every carrier is going to offer you in just about every area of the country are plans G and N. And so what I'm going to do right now is just go through, explain how these plans work, talk you through some of the things they cover, some things they don't cover, and I hope that information is going to help some of you. I'm going to start with Plan G just because of these two plans, it's the most comprehensive plan. So here's how Plan G works. First and foremost, there are no network restrictions. You can see any doctor or medical provider in the country. You don't need to ask anyone. You don't need a referral. You don't need the insurance company's permission. That's very, very important. So first, go see who you want to. You'll pay your monthly premium directly to the insurance company, after which your only out-of-pocket requirement is an annual deductible, which this year, 2023, is $226. So from your perspective as a person with the insurance coverage, what that looks like is you're going to have to come out of your pocket and meet or pay the first $226 worth of medical expenses that accrue to you during the course of a year. It doesn't make any difference if you meet that deductible by going to your doctor a couple of times or having a knee replacement or whatever. After you've come out of pocket with a total of $226 with Plan G, you're done. And by you're done, what I mean is you don't have any other copays when you go to a doctor or specialist. You don't have any co-insurance percentage requirements when you go into the hospital or you have a surgery done or whatever. So Plan G is very, very comprehensive and very simple. And that's why it's very popular, because most people are not used to those two things from their insurance coverage. So that's how Plan G works, and that is a great option. And for nigh on the past decade, that has been the most popular Medicare Supplement Plan in the country. Now, over the past 2 or 3 years, Plan N has, I think it's fair to say, really exploded in popularity, and there are a couple of reasons for that. Not least among those is that the monthly premiums are lower. A Plan N in most areas is going to be $20 or $30 less per month than Plan G. But more importantly, those rates are going to follow a flatter trend line. They're going to stay lower longer. So with any Medicare supplement plan in any market with any carrier, I don't like this, but these are just the facts. You're going to get a rate increase on a pretty regular basis. With Plan G, you're going to get a rate increase, if not every year, darn close to it. With Plan N, you're going to skip a year and not get a rate increase. And when you do get a rate increase, those increases are going to be smaller when compared to what you would see under Plan G. So with Plan N, similarly to Plan G, there are no networks. Plan N is always going to carry the same annual deductible as Plan G, which, if you'll remember, is $226 this year. So up until you've met the deductible, there is no difference between these plans. Okay, now after meeting that annual deductible with Plan N, there are 3 differences you need to be aware of when compared to Plan G. So remember, with Plan G, after you meet the deductible, you're just done. The trade-off, and there's always a trade-off with insurance, is that the monthly premiums are going to be higher and they're going to go up a little quicker. With Plan N, after you meet that $226 annual deductible, you can still be asked to come out of pocket with a little bit more money at the point of service in 3 ways. So first, with the Plan N, when you go to see a doctor after meeting the deductible, that doctor is still allowed to charge you up to $20 for that office visit. It makes no difference if it's a specialist or just a primary care doctor. Just a doctor in general can still charge you up to $20. Out of everything my Plan N clients could question us about, this is far and away number 1. Trey, I thought you said I had a copay at a doctor's office. That is not a copay, even though a lot of the literature that you'll find if you do your own research, and I hope you will, refers to it as a copay. It's not. It is a payment limit. The doctor may charge you nothing. He or she may charge you $10 or $15 or $19.22. They just can't go over $20. That's the first difference with Plan N. Secondly, God forbid anything bad happened to you where you have to go into an emergency room. But if you do, the folks in the emergency room are allowed to charge you up to $50. In that scenario, they're going to charge you the $50 because quite literally 2 Tylenol will cost you $50 in an emergency room. Okay, so thankfully most people are not having to go to an emergency room all that often. Okay, that's difference number 2 with Plan N. The third and final thing that you need to be aware of with Plan N is that it does not cover something called Part B excess charges, which you will almost certainly never run into. So let me explain it to you anyway. Any doctor or medical provider that wants to treat Medicare folks as part of their practice, well, they're first required to have a contract with Medicare, as you would probably imagine, and they have 2 contracting options available to them. So you may have heard the terms participating versus non-participating provider with Medicare. This is kind of what this boils down to. So contracting option number 1 is where the doctor is going to accept Medicare, and they will also accept something called Medicare's assignment. All that really means is that doctor is going to allow the federal Medicare program to tell them what is considered like a customary charge for their specific service in their specific geographic area, and that doctor just agrees not to go outside the upper limit as far as what Medicare says they should charge you. Okay, so there's a little bit of a control placed on the doctor in terms of what they're allowed to charge you. That's how contracting option number 1 works, and with that contracting option, there can be no excess charges. So one quick aside to this is that CMS, which is the federal entity that oversees the Medicare program, it's the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. They did a study in January of this year, 2023, and found that 98% of Medicare doctors nationwide elect to use contracting option number 1, wherein they cannot charge you excess charges. For whatever reason, the remaining 2% is largely made up of, there's a lot of podiatrists, which are foot doctors, and psychiatrists that make up that 2% for whatever reason. But contracting option number 2 is where the excess charges could come in, and this is where the doctor is going to accept Medicare but not accept Medicare's assignment, in which case they're actually paid a little bit less by Medicare than their peers in their market, but they're allowed to charge you a percentage beyond what Medicare pays them for their service, and that is capped at 15%. Most of the excess charges that we see, which are very, very unusual, very few and far between, are under $200. So, but that's how Plan N works. And so those are the 2 plans that really every carrier in your market will offer you. Right now we are probably writing more Plan N products for new clients than Plan G. We can do both. We can also look at the Medicare Advantage products here in my office. So that's really all we do here, is help folks across the country with Medicare and Medicare products, and our service is 100% free to you. If you need help, if you want someone to work with, if you've got a Medicare supplement plan that hasn't been reshopped in a couple years, my phone number's on the screen. It's 1-800-520-5560. We'd be happy to work with you. If this video helped you, if you enjoyed the content, consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. You would be surprised how much that helps other folks find us on YouTube. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.